Hey, welcome everybody to my channel. If you haven't been here before, I read tarot intuitively and sometimes a little bit of energy reading as well. We have 5 groups for you to choose from for today's reading. So the reading is going to be what's their take on the situation. So group 1, we have the Oracle of the Mermaids. Group 2, we have the Goddesses and Sirens deck. Group 3, we have the Work Your Light deck. Group 4 is the Magical Spirit Oracle, and Group 5 is the Starseed Oracle. So you can choose whichever group you feel the most drawn to, and when you're ready, you can use the timestamps in the description box to jump ahead, and we'll get started with Group 1. Okay, welcome Group 1. If you chose the Oracle of the Mermaids, and this will be your reading on what was their take on what happened. So we have Lemuria returns, earthly spirituality, community, ocean conservation, air, breathing deep, entering into life, exchange of life-bringing energies. 5 of Wands with the conflict, the self, and the warrior. So before I actually started pulling cards, I was getting that song, Do You See What I See? I think it's the Hunters. Yeah, by Hunters and Collectors. So that might be a good one for you guys to look up. I actually think it might have been a song for all of the groups today. But it's kind of funny because it makes sense, because it's literally like, you know, for all we know, all 5 piles could be like different people's, you know, take on what happened in any one given situation. If there was like a group of people, and literally saying like, do you see what I see? Like, there's obviously some differences there. Okay, yeah. I was really drawn in. I wanted to like talk about the mermaids and how beautiful and spiritual it was, and connections to potentially Atlantis as well. But I can't get past this energy here of the self. The warrior a little bit, but mostly the self. Like, it's very bright, it's very vibrant, it's very deep. It's like a brilliant array of colors. Like, and it all kind of stems out from, I don't know if it's like the person's like higher heart chakra. But it also, I can't tell with this one yet what it is, but we'll work it out as we go. I can't tell if it's like this person is just like emanating light and radiance outside of themselves, or if there is like a type of projection as well. So I want to actually read from the book on that. I'll see if I can get anything from the card first before we do. I just heard the self, and no other. So it actually makes me wonder if this person has some sort of like selfish intention or something like that, which is a shame, because when I look at this card, I actually don't feel like it's like anything bad about it at all either. And then I kind of, the more time that I spend looking at it though, like when I first looked at it, I was just blinded by the lights and the colors, literally hearing like The Weeknd, like, yeah, I'm blinded by the lights. Anyway, and then as I spend more time looking at it, it's like the colors start to fade into the background, and it's like this darker figure starts to become more prominent here. And I can't tell if it's a case that it's kind of like the reality of when that person steps forward, and it's like all the distractions and the fun and times and everything are kind of behind them. So it's like when you're really just faced with them or the truth of them or the situation or something's quite dark about it. Now, the other side of it is too, is that like, is it just this person's silhouette and they just have such a vibrant aura? And like the other side of it is, you know, can two truths like coexist within this person, right? So that said, I do want to grab the book and we're going to read on that card before we go anywhere else. So I feel like I've got a couple of songs that I probably need to list. I might actually just quickly open up a notes section just so that I don't forget to list them. Here we go, notepad. So we had, oh no way, that's not what I want. Sorry, bear with me guys. Do you see what I see? And blinded by the lights. Okay, cool. So the self. But look, I also want to say that all of this like kind of light being coming out of this person, whatever it is coming from a pearl as well. So like usually when I hear the word pearl, I kind of think of like pearl of wisdom, or even though it's not a gem, I think of like a gem or a diamond in the rough. Like that person is a pearl. Like in Australia, people say she's a pearler. You know, if you want to go that way. But let's not make too much fun of me today. All right, so the self. It's not a word that I hear, but one of the readers I listen to a lot actually uses the word jovial quite a lot. And I literally just heard jovial and I'm like, is it because I've listened to her, that word now exists in my like mind, and so spirit can now like use that word to convey their meanings. Anyway, so the self, back on track. It seems to be getting a bit more serious now, so I'm not, I just feel like it's going nowhere. So whatever this is, I don't know. It's hard to tell, like, is this person kind of distracting, or like, is there something about them that's kind of put out there to catch people off guard, or is it really just a case that they are like a beautiful person and maybe there's something about them that's misunderstood? God, I shouldn't take so long to find the cards, come on. No. I feel like in general, they're probably a pretty happy person, or like, I don't know, unless it's you, but I mean, take what resonates. Unless you have happened to accidentally come into your own energy. Sometimes that can happen where we like think we're, you know, picking a card or a pile, like a reading on another person, and our own energy can actually come through. It's very real. It definitely does happen. So just be mindful of that. The further that we get into, if it starts to sound like you, there is a potential that it could be. But all right, here, we finally got it. I guess that's what they wanted me to say. Okay, so let's stand up a little bit closer. The self, the soul, the witness, the watcher. The self is the prism that allows the spectrum of our personalities to radiate. It does not judge, prohibit, suppress, or oppress any of its parts, as it is lovingly knows that all aspects have a time and place, and leads us to experience the full breadth of life offerings. The self is the central abiding container, the awareness of the infinite universe of possibilities. When this card appears, it's a call to step back in to witness consciousness, to observe yourself navigating the world. Ask yourself, am I the stew or am I the chef? In most situations, our ego draws us into the cauldron where we swirl, spin, and smolder in chaos. Yet the self is a graceful culinary dancer, watching, waiting, observing as the spectrum of ingredients become the flavor of our life. Look in the mirror for 30 seconds or more and attempt to see the you behind the you. We also have, sorry, I know this is not very clear, like it's kind of hard sometimes to get it to focus in like the poor lighting, but we'll make the best of what we've got anyway. Maybe it's not going to matter, I'm just going to read it. Okay. It's no surprise that two central mantras in the yoga tradition concern themselves with the self, experiment with Soham, I don't know if that's how you pronounce it. I imagine it would be Soham. I am that, and Satnam, true identity. If this card is perplexing for you, you are on the right track. It challenges us to expand our sense of identity beyond the little self, and the ego resists such movement. When light, witnessing, accepting new aspects of self. When dark, disjointed, fatigue, diffused energy and purpose. Yeah. Okay. So now that we've got that there, I feel like it definitely touches on like both of the aspects that we kind of already talked about, but it's kind of like different ends of the same spectrum. And it really does look like, in a sense, a spectrum to a degree. Of a degree. I don't know what I'm saying. Okay. Yeah, 29 could be important here for someone as well. So I don't know if like this person, like what it is their take is on you is 29, or if you're 29, or there was something to do with like whatever the situation that happened could have been on the 29th day of the month or something like that. Only take it if it resonates. Don't let it, that's like only confirmation for some people. There's other people here that will not be relevant for at all, but it does not mean that this is not your reading at this stage. Okay. So now we have the warrior card. So I actually was saying before that, like, you know, all those words when I would think of like a pearl, and I was talking about like being a gem or like a diamond in the rough. And we actually have on the warrior card here, like an almost like little diamondy or diamante looking jewel in the middle of the skull. And I almost, when I was saying skull, I heard crown, and I was like, oh, there's literally rainbows over the crown. And like, you know, it can be different colors for different people. I realize that, but there's actually like a white and a gold there, and like the rainbow colors. Like the only color that would be missing would be purple, but I mean, it's part of the rainbow anyway. But they're usually colors that I actually already associate with the crown chakra. So like letting the white light or the gold light or the rainbow sort of come through when you are like in alignment. So I actually, and the thing is too, is that the skull kind of looks quite fierce here, right? But like infinite knowledge and wisdom. And I wanted to, I don't know if it's like something about the consciousness, like open consciousness, something about ideologies, maybe like a lot of, I don't know, like an open mind. Yeah, very open-minded person, but they kind of come off a bit ferocious. And there's like also the snake here woven around. So I'm not sure at this point if this person, they still can't tell if like, so just keep in mind that this could be either way. Like you could be this person that we're talking about, or this could be the person, you know, what it is, that's their take on like what happened. So it could be, yeah, how they're either interpreting you, or it could be them. Try not to confuse us too much, and we'll just move on, and then we'll see how it goes and flip it later if we need to. The more I look at the snake, the more I start to realize that it's actually like not really that harmful. When I first was looking at it, I was like, oh no, snake, like, I don't know, all the things, like all the connotations and the fear that might come up. And it's like one thing to actually be around, like in front of a physical, real life animal snake, like right in front of you. But it's a whole nother thing when there's that connotation of symbolism to a snake in the grass as, you know, being representative of a person. But the more I look at it, the more I just see that it's like kind of vulnerable. And it's actually just like trying to get out of its way. So like generally snakes won't attack you if they're not provoked, like, you know, if you're a human, you know, depending on the type of snake it is and everything. But like mostly in Australia, a lot of the snakes that I've come across, I've always lived in quite like built up areas where there's like lots of people and stuff. So the snakes haven't been like humongous or anything. They would normally only like attack prey like birds or vermin or something like that. They wouldn't normally attack a person unless you were like accidentally walking into their area or provoking them or something like that. They would normally be more scared of you than you are of it, and they would try to just like kind of sneak away or something like that, unnoticed, unbothered. But I don't know, I mean, everyone's experiences are different, right? And so that's also one of those things that like when we come into contact with a snake, it's that like fear of the unknown. Like, we don't know. Are they just vulnerable, trying to like kind of get themselves out of the like whatever's about to go down? Like, are they just trying to, you know, just hide and like, I'm out of here? Or are they the opposite and they're not vulnerable and they actually do have like play up to a lot of those like negative kind of, you know, that like sneaky, dangerous, potentially venomous or insidious type of energy that they can be representative of at times. What I would also say is that snakes can be representative sometimes of like rising Kundalini energy, and I can't remember what it's called. I do have the laptop though, so I might have a quick look. You know, there's that like symbol of, I can't remember if it's 2 snakes or 2 dragons, and they kind of like intertwine, twirl up together. I can't remember if it's around a cross or what it is. What is it? 2 snakes. Yeah, twisting together. Okay, cool. It is a thing. So I don't know how to pronounce it. The caduceus, or I don't know. But I'll see if I can quickly show you the symbol. That little symbol there. 2 snakes around the staff kind of twirled up. All right. And it says that, that's how it's mostly known. But it has a link with Mercury, which, I mean, Mercury is quite like that. Like, just because Mercury is skillful, it can come off a little bit like, you know, it can have those tendencies to like be quite good at stuff in a way that, like, I don't know, it can kind of come off a little bit sneaky and manipulative sometimes, whereas other times it's actually quite innocent, and just because it's there, all those like characteristics doesn't mean it's being weaponized, if that makes sense. So moving on, not that we should discount it or not be mindful of, you know, anything around us. That's like the #1 rule, right, is like not to be complacent. So messenger. Okay, so the other concepts that I'm getting come up on my 2-second reference is diplomacy, eloquence, and commerce. But I think that's a different understanding, and I don't want to get too dragged into it or for it to take away too much from the reading. There's also duality and balance, which to me makes a lot of sense, because it's when I have sort of seen that symbol in the past, when I've like been reading cards and whatnot, it's generally come across as like a balance of the feminine and the masculine energy. So just take whatever resonates there and leave the rest. Okay, now with that, moving on, we've got like both of them in check. I would still say that this warrior card is still more like fierce looking for sure. And when I look at it, it's like, why wouldn't it be fierce looking? It's like a skull and it has a snake, but it's the warrior. And it's like, I just want to, for those of you, like, you know, my Australian accent is like a bit rough. Warrior, a person who is like protecting or fighting or defending, not actually a person that worries a lot. Okay, so what I want to say is that this person is probably very well integrated, and they're integrated in a way that most people don't understand. I feel like that's a pretty common theme here that's given. And it's easy to weaponize a lot about this person and the way that they move throughout the world, because they are this person that kind of embodies their light and their dark, and they're very elevated in the way that they do this. That mention of the eloquence is literally on point for this person. They are eloquent, and it doesn't matter if it doesn't look eloquent to you if you do not understand that heightened state of consciousness, or that like developed mind, or an integrated self. Okay, I'm not telling you to like ignore if something bad happened to you. If something bad happened to you, something bad happened, right? I don't feel like this is your guy, but we do have the conflict card here. Okay, now it can usually come through as conflict or competition. I'm hearing weaponized incompetence. This is really weird, the level that it gets. But for some people, it could actually be a case where they're saying like, it's like pretending like they don't know more about the situation than they do. And so I'm not really sure entirely how that plays out with weaponized like incompetence. Like, are they pretending that they are incompetent themselves or something? I don't know. Maybe that's something that has been done to this person or to you. I feel like it's been to this person. This person has had that thrown at them somehow. Maybe look it up. Maybe go, okay, I've got the computer here. I keep forgetting that I've got it. I should just do it, right? And then we can all move on. But I don't know, I feel like sometimes when I say, you know, that it's something for you to look into, it's because it's something that they're quite deep topics, and my 2-second like spiel on Google doesn't really give it the same depth or effect that it's meant to be, to really like give something, I don't know, yeah, the depth that it's meant to have. But anyway, so it says, weaponized incompetence, also known as strategic or willful incompetence, is when someone feigns or exaggerates incompetence at a task to avoid doing it, often shifting the responsibility to someone else. This can occur in, all the different relationships. Okay, so it literally could go both ways. It could be like a person pretending that they're like not good at something so that like someone else just sort of comes in and does it as well. Someone could, I don't know, someone could pretend that they like didn't recognize a social cue or something like that. And I feel like that's more the point at what they're kind of getting at. Whatever that looks like, done with that part, let's move on. Okay, so I'm going back to the self and the warrior. What is it that we need to know? What are we missing? So there's a conflict between the two. Okay, so two different people. No. Two different parts within one person's self. Okay. I wonder if this person, part of them kind of wanted to stand up for themselves or fight for someone else or something like that. But they were also being very cautious to kind of keep that like higher heart chakra protected. And so it was kind of like, do I stand up for myself and actually fight or be the warrior in the situation to like set things straight or whatever, and kind of embrace that conflict? Or am I going to keep myself intact here and not kind of risk it? Because like the warrior here has that hard exoskeleton, and so I don't know, what am I missing here? It's like, I'm just hearing, do you see what I see? Okay. I'm just getting something's missing. Okay. So the other cards that we have Lemuria returns. We did talk about that already. So earthly spirituality, community, ocean conservation, and air breathing exchange. I do feel like this person may actually be very sensitive to energy, or they work with a lot of energies, or they could be empathic and have a tendency to like take on other people's energies, whether they are consciously aware of it or mean to do it or not. And they actually could be a very like earthy or spiritual person. This could have been a spiritual community, but it doesn't have to be. Yeah, it also could have something to, I don't know, maybe some of the people in the group, it says ocean conservation, maybe some of the people in the group were like, what is it, like, you know, concerned with like sustainability and eco-friendly environmental solutions and everything like that. But when I kind of, I don't know, when I look at this energy, like overall, it's actually pretty beautiful. But the thing is too, that's crazy about this conflict card, is I don't even think that they're the person that's like firing the shots. I think that they're caught up in it. Yeah. All right, what else do we need? I feel like we might need to take more cards or something. What else are we missing here? Yeah, this person wants to keep their self intact, like the essence of their self intact. They don't want to expose themselves. They don't want to be seen. I don't want to be, I don't know, I wonder if something about them is already kind of fractured or like split. Like, I wonder, I don't know. I kind of wonder if this person has like potentially personality disorder issues or something, but I don't know. It doesn't matter. And I'm just hearing like these boots were made for walking, but I was like looking at the horns and I was like, well, you don't want to get tangled up in those horns. But I'm like, these boots were made for walking. So it's like, what else are they there for? Like, they're there to protect this person. If this person wanted to really enter into an argument of some kind or like engage in some type of fight, they would just, I don't even know, they would wipe people out. They just, you don't want to get caught. Yeah, no. Okay, anyway. All right, and so I feel like this person could be quite intimidating, and that would also be something that would lend people to, like, I don't know, what is it here? I'm gonna try a different deck. It is starting to get dark, guys, so I mean, we'll do our best with the lighting and everything, but okay, so we have, what do we got? Yeah. This person could have already been upset about something that was like going on in the background, but there's definitely like that competing and that fighting energy. Like, one person really were like trying to get their way and trying to force a situation, and when they couldn't get what they wanted, then they had to go to war. And I feel like they would literally, like, I don't know, if they would just weaponize something, like if you did have a secret or whatever, but your light irritates their demons. Yeah, that must, this is their take on what happened. So, fake smiles. Okay, let's just take a moment. I just want to see if I can get a bit more of a clarifying. Okay. They're just telling me to keep going. Okay. Oh, man. This person felt like people were being disingenuous, that there was definitely jealousy here. People weren't getting their way, and that they were taking like swings below the belt, and I don't know, like there's something here that weaponized incompetence or a vulnerability. I feel like this person really, I wonder, for some of you, yeah, I did say it before already, you could be this person. Yeah, I don't know why it's not coming through clearly for me. Like, the person, what their take was on the situation, not really kind of understanding everything. And the more we talk into it, it's like, maybe this is, you could be feeling very confused. This person could be feeling very confused. There's, yeah, no, they're saying it's this person. Their take on everything, they're very confused. I feel like they actually seen, this is weird to me, because this person has literally seen the shit play out. They seen what went down. They seen the motives behind what happened, or like, you know, whatever the driving factors were, if it was someone's ego or if whatever. They seen it. They seen people be fake. They seen people not getting their way and like throwing punches or jabs or whatever. I don't know. And they seen a vulnerability in a person being taken advantage of, or like abused or misused in some way. But they know this person to be like a deeply loving, kind person who is like deeply connected and on their spiritual path. And the only reason they were engaging with the conflict was because they were put in a position where they had to. They were kind of like, you know, shots were fired upon them. So they were like forced to step into this warrior energy. And they really didn't want to have to. They really wanted to protect their self. I feel like there's something about this person's self. They're in a very vulnerable state at the time when this all went down. And they should have been protected. I think they thought they were in a safe, nurturing space. But really it was, that's maybe one of the vulnerabilities as well, is that this person, they thought they were going to be with people of a kin or something like that. Yeah, and then it was like shots were fired. And I don't know. I feel like there's something here about the empathing too, though. So I wonder, this person that had the shots fired, so I feel like that's maybe part of what actually happened. And the person that's seen it is the person who has seen both sides of it but is thoroughly confused, right? I think one of the reasons why they're confused, I think like this empathy, warrior, self person, they're all the same, right? But like there was something about the way that they reacted to the situation, I'm hearing with grace, that threw everyone off because they didn't step in. No, I don't know. Is that right? No, it's not right. There's something here. Something about them being an empath. It's like they couldn't tell their own feelings, or they were tapped into this other person's feelings. That might be part of where the confusion came from, because like maybe there was something to do with this conflict. I don't know. This is like a bit of a tough one, guys. But this is like this person's take on it. They don't understand it, whatever. Like, because I'm tapped into this person's energy, and they don't understand it. I feel like they see two sides of the coin and they're thoroughly confused. I wonder if it's this person who like doesn't have like this person, their take on it, they like don't have that strong sense of self, or they're being in a self-protective mode, or they're like, I don't know. I wonder if they were codependent. So like maybe this person, the part of the reason why they're confused, even though they've seen both sides of what's like played out here, they're kind of codependent with the person that's like firing shots in some way. And so because they feel this like codependent relationship with them, they're kind of willing to overlook. Yeah, that's, I just got like goosebumps or chills or something. All right, that's what it is. They're kind of, this person's take on the situation is that they don't agree with it, but they're thoroughly confused by it somehow. I don't even know if I'd say they don't agree with it. I don't know if I want to go that far. They're making allowances for the person because they're in some sort of codependent relationship with them, even though they've seen the entirety of what played out, but they feel very confused. So it did take me a long time looking at all of it, still feeling like I didn't really have everything in front of me. So there might be like something small, so some sort of small detail that's been missed, but I think they've got everything in front of them and they just are struggling to make sense of it. But I think that's sort of something that can happen, right? If we like tell ourselves a particular story to like make an allowance for one of the people in the scenario, instead of looking at like the actual facts of what happened, what played out, then we're not going to have the full picture. It's kind of like a diluted version of the picture. Like it's not very clear. It's kind of like wearing those rose-colored glasses or something. So that's their take on the situation. They like, I don't know if they just are in denial and they don't want to acknowledge it, but I think they're I wonder if this person was also shared some similar feelings, but they never acted on them. Like they also, I don't know whether there was some ego stuff going on or some jealousy stuff going on. I'm not really sure what it is. So maybe they were like happy and being complicit with this other person's behavior. So yeah, take it as it will. But group one, that was a bit of, I don't know, it took us a while to get there, and I feel like we sort of got it across the line there in the end. But the message itself is pretty short and sharp of like, you know, what their take is on what happened. Yeah. For others of you, this could be to do with a relationship, like a romantic interest or something like that. And I don't know. It was like when this person wanted it to go to the next level, or they wanted it to be something more serious, and it wasn't, like one of these people didn't want it to be codependent or something like that. And when they embodied the full spectrum of themselves, because they are an individual, not a, you know, one half of a person, they're not a puzzle piece that just clicks into somebody else. They are their whole own self. And they are really colorful, and they do take up a lot of space, and they are beautiful and everything, but there's like an entirety to them. That's what I'm trying to get at. And when they didn't want to be codependent, this other person, they kind of, I think that's when they initiated that conflict. And so it was like, yeah, I don't know. It's like, if you're not going to, like, I don't know, what is it? The be-all. Like, if you're not going to be my be-all, then we can't, like, if you're not going to be codependent with me, if you're not going to do what I say, or you're not going to, you know, do absolutely everything with me, or for, like, I don't know, if you're not going to constantly agree with me or something like that, then there's we've got a problem here. And if you're too colorful or take up too much space, or if you're too enlightened, some weird I don't even get this. It just, you know, it's starting to give me a level of immaturity. Okay, now for others of you, the take on what happened here is that I think a person may have potentially tricked, I don't like that, but I don't know, someone here could have like baby trapped someone, and I feel like they were like scared of this person kind of leaving them or something like that. And you know, it's like a similar type of energy, but it's just like one was maybe more of a platonic relationship and the other was not. And it is just a case of like wanting that person with you and feeling like, I don't know, I actually wonder if this person who did the baby trapping, if they, how do we say it? Like, I wonder if, like, I think initially they may have used it as a way to try to keep the partner, but then they knew that even if the partner didn't stick around, that they would have this baby with them that would kind of enter into that like codependent dynamic for them through, you know, like, you know, you're a baby, you depend on your parent, like it's, you know, so I don't know, but that's not for everyone. So just like only take what resonates. I feel like there's about 3 different scenarios playing out there, all with similar kind of fundamentals or characteristics. But yeah, definitely for that sort of first group though, it seems potentially like a group of like feminine energies, so I will say that. But I feel like there was a stark contrast in between the two people. I don't know, was it 2 people? I feel like I'm looking here and there's 2 people. And these to me almost come off as separate energies if they're not, you know, the two energies within a person. So anyway, group 1, that's everything that I have for you. Hopefully this resonated for you or was like helpful in some way. If you did get something out of this reading, please leave a like. I don't know, feel free to share your experience in the comments. I understand this is like a bit of a confusing one, so yeah. Anyway, I'll see you all in another reading. Take care. Welcome group 2. If you chose the Goddesses and Sirens deck, then this will be your group on what was their take on what happened. So I want to say I feel like this person, they actually kind of strategically cast someone out in a way where they didn't really have to lift a finger. And then I feel like they kind of faked dead or faked hurt. Like it's like they faked an injury or something that was like kind of serious, while simultaneously like throwing judgment or throwing shade. But I feel like it was done in a kind of sneaky way. And we also had the Vision and Agape here. So with the Vision, very much, I just want to show you this card. There's like, don't mind the lighting, it's just an awkward time of day. There's hands, very much like framing this little picture here in the middle. So it very much is making me think of a person trying to portray a specific vision. Yeah. And it's like, yeah, a specific thing to keep your eye on. Okay. And I feel like it's been isolated down to one person, whatever the scenario is. So it could have, I don't know if it happened in a group or not, but we got 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, no, there's 5, which is funny because there was 5 cards. So I want to say that there was one person kind of framed, 2 people doing the framing, and then like 2 onlookers or bystanders or something like that, witnesses, or just, I don't know. Okay. So now with the 2 people doing the framing, I feel like one kind of, it was like a specific intent that they were like acting out, whereas the other person, I feel like they were kind of complicit in the situation, which is a bit weird to me. But I feel like the owls can see everything going on, but they're like, oh, I'm up here on my branch, I'm not touching that. It's really funny too, because like with the owls, they're like, that looks like snake skin, I'm not going near that. And I think that's exactly what these 2 people here wanted, was to frame it in such a way that this little tiny person, I'm trying to show you, a little tiny person in the mountain, all on their own, isolated off in the distance, like, yeah, being framed. Oh my god. Anyway, and then we've got Agape here with the candles. So I actually want to read from the book on these. Okay. They're asking the question, is there anything that you need to know? So I'm kind of wondering if you've like come to this reading for confirmation, or if you actually do understand everyone's take on the situation, or if it was like I wonder if you actually already have the entirety of what has played out here in some way. Maybe that's what this person, yeah, this is their take on it. I think they already actually, I don't know, take whatever resonates, and I don't want to throw anyone off. Okay. Where are we going? I think this person could have been working on whatever this was, this whole weird framing thing, for quite a while. Like, I think they actually could have worked up to it for a period of time. I don't know if it was necessarily a long period of time. Oh, guys, not that it's the card we're looking for, but I just was like, look, there's the mountain with the same little man in the box. It's like that card, but anyway. Okay. Which is funny too, because I feel like that person that was framed was probably ascending on some sort of pathway. And they were like, oh, we can't have you like get too far here. You might need to just like step over here where you're on your own. This is such a weird reading, because I'm just not, whatever, no judgment, whatever. Sorry, it's not actually funny that if like, I don't know whether it was you or someone else in the scenario, it's very, very sneaky, it's very underhanded. It was
the fact that someone was kind of helping them, and then it was like people were just kind of complicit or just onlookers that didn't want to step near it. Finally, I found it. That always happens. It's not until I finish what I needed to say that I hadn't said. Okay. The vision, the dream, the imagined, the revealed. It is said that we are each born with a unique vision, a destiny toward which we are aimed. It is also said that we forget this vision the moment we are born. Thus, we are sent on a lifelong journey of rediscovery. Such is the elusive nature of the vision. It slips away, yet it guides. It appears in strange dreams and surreal images, seemingly unattainable and preposterous. When we are connected to the vision, we carry an inspired, enchanted aliveness that others recognize. We trust the world and its synchronicities. We walk through new doors into wondrous opportunities. We all want to be near those with vision. They emit energy more potent than any elixir, and when we lose connection to the vision, life becomes dull and exhausting, lacking meaning. Bring back the mystery, bring back the dreams. And that's exactly, kind of gives me the same similar energy as when I was saying this person could have been like on some sort of ascended pathway or journey or something like that. I feel like they're probably, I don't know, something they were doing was great, and for me it kind of lines up with them being the person with the vision. But at the same time, I mean, when you have a vision like that, sometimes other people will set their sights on you to try to kind of achieve the same vision, you know, riding coattails or something, I don't know, whatever. Okay, so I'm hearing nonchalant, so like not being too worried, I guess, or two-faced. Okay, now we have the agape. Devotion, unconditional love. What if instead of putting yourself at the center of your spiritual practice, you put God, Goddess, or nature at the center? How would this change your approach? Such is the energy of agape. It is alive when we are in awe and wonder and our breath taken away by the sacred force that surrounds us and asks for nothing in return. This card can indicate a spiritual initiation that stretches your capacity to love and serve. You sense the earthly as the heavenly and vice versa. Such an initiatory moment can appear in any form, and like a healing balm to the modern soul, its effects last a lifetime. The agape card may also suggest you reassess what you worship every day, consciously or unconsciously. What are you elevating? Where does the sacred ladder you climb ultimately lead to? Yeah. For some people, like this person, what their take is on the situation, I actually think they might have got a good look at themselves with however it was that this played out. Or, yeah, I don't know, something about this situation was kind of illuminating. You know, I want to see if there's a way that we can make this more clearly, because I'm reading these cards, and for some, it's like this person, what's their take on the situation? They are the person that kind of like did this, whereas someone else, it's like they've seen it play out. Like there's two birds here in that back window that are watching, and there's two birds there that are watching. So I feel like there's definitely two people that have like witnessed how this has played out, even. But this is one person's take on it, so I don't want to get too confusing here. I feel like these readings, or this like group one was a particularly tricky one to move through, so group two's got nothing on that, thank God. All right, so we're going to take another card. I'm really hoping that this is actually helpful to you guys. Oh man. All right. So I just had, reflecting, boss daddy, photo proof, and moving on. Yeah, so this person's take on the situation, I think they definitely have been reflecting on it. I think the goal was to put themselves in an elevated position, and I think, look, it says photo proof and getting evidence. So this person could have just been trying to, look, I did say there was something kind of skillful about the way a person was like thrown out, and that I wonder if they kind of maybe they don't have photo proof of something, but maybe they just kind of like misled someone with something that they said. Like what I was talking about earlier with the judgment card and like talking, like, look, this person's talking to about 3 other people. So even though I feel like there's probably 5 people in the group, just take what resonates for your situation. There was 3 people, well, it would be, you know, 3 plus 1 is 4 plus you's viewer is 5. So, this person is telling at least 3 people about the situation in their version of events with that judgment, the way they want it to be understood, right? And so I don't know whether they could have been like some sort of like photo proof, or they could have been trying to put you in a position with that, whatever that framing that I was talking about before, where that framing, you know, there's like that thing, reactional abuse. Sorry, the birds. Hopefully you can still hear me through it. Otherwise I might have to shut a door if it's going to keep going too long. Okay. So there is such a thing as like reactional abuse, whether it's recognized by people or not. And it's why it's like important that we have like a strong sense of self, and that we don't let our emotions get the better of us too much, right? There's like it pays to be composed in our how we hold ourselves. But I feel like that's what this person was doing. They were trying to elicit or provoke a reaction from this person that may have seemed proportionate, like out of proportion, so that they could kind of be like, see, that's the evidence. Like, that's what I was talking about, you know? So they may have, I did say that I felt like it was potentially like something they'd been working on for a while. So it wouldn't surprise me if they'd kind of said a few things leading up to it beforehand. Anyway, and what's their take on it? I don't know. They're out of there. They're like, moving on. Maybe I feel like that's probably you guys. I don't know. Yeah, I'm starting to get the goosebumps or the chills. Like, I don't know. This person's take on the situation. So this could have been their insight into like what happened, or this could have been the person who did this stuff. So I don't know, take what resonates. Hopefully it's helpful to you guys in some way. If you did get something out of this reading, definitely leave us a like, or share with us in the comments, even, I don't know, help us make sense of it, or share your story if that's something you're comfortable with. But also, I don't know, let us know if it resonates. Anyway, take care, guys. I'll see you all in another reading. Bye. Welcome group 3. If you chose the Work Your Light Oracle, then this will be your person's take on the situation that played out. So the first thing that I forgot to mention in the introduction, I thought it was for everyone, but it didn't come up in group 2, so I'm assuming it must just be for a couple of the groups here, that I was getting that song, like, do you see what I see? So that is, I believe, by the Hunters and the Collectors, if that's one that you're looking into. But I just kind of thought it was funny because it was like, you know, 5 different people's perspectives or takes on a situation. So it could be in a group scenario that actually went down or played out. And yeah, anyway. I was also getting the chain by Fleetwood Mac. So breaking the chain. But let's see if we can quickly get something on that. Okay. Hoping everybody's doing well anyway. Okay, we've got... Yeah, I feel like this person would never give you another chance, or that's their take on the scenario, is that you would never give this other person another chance. Anyway, so we've got ancestral patterns, healing, rewriting the future. So that's like pretty on point with what I was saying. Anyway, so it's like a new journey, or they're embarking on a new way of doing things, or a new, like, I don't know. I just think this person doesn't care if they go it alone. They're going to go for an adventure, and they're going to go start again, start fresh, and they're just going to like find all the good things in life and the things that they love and the things that fill their cups and like all the flowers and daisies, and they're just going to like bask in the great bits and joyness of life. And I just see that they're kind of leaving whatever this was behind, and they're just going to follow their true north node or their north star. And so that when this competition... Or that's funny because I actually meant to say conflict and that just kind of came out. So maybe it was actually like competition or something. But when this conflict actually like happened, I feel like it come in really quickly. It was very underhanded. It actually was like very, like you know, that shallow win where it's like, there was no point or purpose to it. There was no like good or greater outcome. It literally did not need to happen, but this person just wanted to do it anyway. They're like, look what I can do, is the energy I kind of get off it, which is really funny. Anyway, and then, what do you call it? The thing was too, though, is that I feel like, I don't know, it's meant to be like working together, but it could also be representative of like a third party. So it's kind of like maybe this person somehow weaponized a third party, or it was a case of like, they kind of were, you know, it like, it could have been like a group event. Someone did something underhanded, but then was like really acting like an angel, is kind of the exact metaphor I'm getting, where they're like, oh, but look at me just being like, you know, altruistic and contributing to the group and trying to like make it a nice time for everyone, but don't mind if I just like stab you in the back when no one's looking. Anyway, and then when it was actually illuminated, this person went into full like damage control, like, yeah, anyway. So what's their take on it? So it's like kind of like separating out 2 separate energies there, right? So it was like, basically this person could be on either end of this. I do feel like for most of the viewers in this situation, the person that you're asking about, or that is like coming through for like, what is their take on the situation? They are this person that was just like, I'm out of here, man, never again. I'm doing my own thing. I'm finding the good stuff in my life, and I'm getting back in touch with my purpose. So that, yeah. And it's like, I think they found themselves in a situation where there was conflict. I think they were like, they had something thrown at them like completely out of the blue, like they were blindsided by whatever this underhanded stuff was. And it was like the person on the other side of that who kind of threw that shade at them, that was kind of acting angelic in a sense. And I think it was just that they really, look, it's the sun, like the sun, it's like, you know, typically the sun like the earth revolves around the sun. Does the sun revolve around the earth? I don't know. Yeah, I feel really silly. But I mean, yeah, the earth revolves around the sun, doesn't it? I don't know. That's what I'm getting for the reading anyway, even if it's not, but whatever. But so it could have been that thing that they were like, I don't know, look at me just be like, great. And I don't know. But I also feel like there was an illumination. So when this person may have been called out, and when they were called out, then it was like, yeah, damage control, like, oh. Anyway. Man, what's it about the gold? Okay. Anyway, is there anything else here? I feel like we need to take more cards. That's a T. Yeah, I feel if this person was actually asked, this person that did the underhanded thing or initiated the conflict or like threw shade out of nowhere or whatever it was, however it went down, creeping. They, I feel like if they were asked directly about it, they'd be like, oh, look over here. Oh my God, the card literally disappeared. I was going to say, I don't think that they would answer the question directly. They would kind of be like vague or distracting or change the subject, or they would answer it in a way that does not directly answer it. It's like if you asked a very clear, concise question, they would kind of like answer it as though like with innuendo. They would intentionally assume innuendo in the question and answer it as though it could have been asked in a different way. Meanwhile, they know exactly what, you meant. Anyway, or anybody else that asked about it, maybe not you. But I've just heard play pretend. I literally just heard play pretend. Anyway, they're like, oh, look at me, but don't look behind. Okay, anyway, but yeah, I feel like now this person is keeping an eye, this person who initiated whatever this conflict was is now actually like keeping an eye out on this person, that's their take on the situation. So, I don't know, yeah, okay. Oh, cock blocking. Yeah, well, I mean, this person that we're asking about what their take is, they like clearly want nothing to do with this, so they're blocking any kind of contact, hence why old mate would have to feel the need to be like creeping anyway, because they can't just go have a direct conversation. But it's like weird too, because they're like in the dark when they're doing it, and they're like trying to go unnoticed, but it's like very obvious too. Yeah, anyway, we're moving past that. I don't really care for it. Okay, so I think that's oh my God, this person's energy. They were like, it's just because those cards flicked out, right? If you've seen that, you've seen it. This person that was like, oh, look at me, but like, don't look over here at the truth. Even though it's like, I'll show you, it's like, I will show you the truth. I'll illuminate what I want you to know. But I don't know, it's just weird because I look at this card and it's not what I see at all. But like the energy that I'm getting through in this, that's kind of it. Anyway, and I think they had this person that they threw shade at, hook, line, and sinker, literally. I don't know if this person necessarily took the bait though. They like went running. They were like, I do not want to get caught up in that. That would like hurt me. So they're like, see you later. I'm out. And yeah, no more of this. Oh, okay. Is there anything else that we need for the reading? No. Okay. Group 3, that was like a pretty quick one. We got to the point, which is good. Still a little bit, tricky unraveling some of it, but hopefully this is like helpful to you all in some way. So if you did get something out of this video, definitely leave us a like or comment and share. But anyway, I'll take care of yourselves. I'll see you in another video. I don't know. Welcome group 4. If you chose the Magical Spirit Oracle, then this will be your reading on I guess your person's take on what happened. So the first card that we had come out was the Awakened Dead. It says the things that almost broke me were the things that almost awoke me. Resilience, nirvana, self-appreciation. So I actually think it's a really beautiful card and I really love this energy, but it came out in reverse, and I kind of I'm unsure. Like, it didn't quite make it all the way reverse. It was more like on the side. It was kind of where I stopped it when I grabbed it, but they were saying that it was meant to be in reverse energy. Anyway, I actually, do we want more from this? No. It's just like, I don't know. It's like the duality of life, that sometimes the most like scary, broken, dirty things that, you know, humans could perceive can actually be so beautifully integrated and just like a part of the earth and natural, I don't know, natural beauty. Yeah, okay, anyway. And then we also have planning first steps, making decisions, leaving comfort and taking risks. Compassion, yeah, Queen of Cups, Knight of Wands. What was this person's take? And what happened? I wonder if this person was thinking about like leaving whatever the situation was. They're like quite integrated, even if they weren't in their most like awakened moment or something. They might have, I don't know, whatever it was. It does say the things that almost broke me. For some of you, this is that initiatory experience. But for others of you, this person may have been going through a lot when this happened. So they weren't quite like aware of things as they were playing out, even if they were there, which is kind of gives me a bit of a funny energy. But yeah, and I think they were thinking about like leaving, well, it says leaving comfort, but I was thinking about like leaving the situation. So this person might not have actually been comfortable. It just doesn't look like that. It doesn't, I don't know. Making decisions, first steps, planning. It's 2 of Wands there. Where we got bad planning, overanalyzing, not taking action. Yeah, playing it safe. Yeah. Man. It's like this person is just standing on the precipice of making a decision, and they're not making a decision. They're not moving towards something. But I think that's usually kind of like how things start out, right? It's like you look out the window. I don't know, maybe they're just like daydreaming or they're contemplating. Maybe this person takes a while to kind of null over things or like process them or to like kind of ground out their ideas into how they want it to be. So they might just be, I don't know if I want to say they're an airy person, but there's something about them could be kind of like mental, emotional space could be a little bit lucid, or they could be, they could have a hard time grounding, or they might just not be as grounded, and because they're not as grounded, like they could almost live in another realm. That's, yeah, it's like 1 foot in, 1 foot out, and yeah, I don't know. Okay, we're just gonna move on. But I feel like they're actually a deeply loving person who's very kind. And yeah, they've seen someone being flaky and potentially not very nice, or like purposely making another person uncomfortable. But I think that they thought this other person was like very strong and grounded and could kind of handle it, or like they had good enough self-worth or something that they would like throw down if they needed to. But I also see, so this is like their take on what's happened, but I feel like I've just described this person. So I don't know, like it's like they weren't really paying attention and they're too focused on like whatever it was that was preoccupying their mind of like, do I do this? Do I not do this? Like maybe it was about how they react to the situation or something like that. But what they could have, this could have been like, you know, what they seen play out was one of the people in the group being unsure whether they would stay or not, and sort of, I already said being a bit spiky about something. Something could have like hit a nerve or hit home. Something could have gone awry. Something could have stirred something up. Yeah, I don't know. But also, I think with a person that they wouldn't expect it to, and I think they handled it well with grace and dignity, but they probably got out of there when they could and didn't have to. I don't know. For some of you, I feel like there was a person who just like, oh man, I don't like it. They might have had a bit of a temper, but they just like don't have regard for other people, and to them they see it as like a rebellious act to kind of like enact that upon other people, even if it's not really well deserved, even if it throws other people into like basically they just don't have considerations for like others at all. But then when it's said and done, they're like, oh, what's wrong? Anyway, this is all too weird of a reading, so enjoy. If you know, you know. Also, I do feel like we have Taurus here as well. I feel like we have earth and water signs here. I don't know. Ignore all that. Taurus, Cancer, Scorpio, Capricorn, potentially Aquarius because it kind of came out anyway. If the signs are there, take it. If they resonate, take it. If they don't, it's okay not to. I just feel like this person's really beautiful. Even if they're not in a time of growth or bloom, I feel like it doesn't take much to see that they are a really beautiful person. Or this, you know, that's what your person's take is on this other person. Yeah, and then there's like the Queen of Wands as well. So they could have just been like quite a confident or passionate person. Very like self-assured. And when a new beginning came along, and I don't know, is that really it? I think they don't want to take cups that aren't really love. This reading's all too weird to me because I don't feel like I'm reading the way that I normally read. It's like, this is what I see, right? So the next card was Six of Pentacles. I see that this is what this person wanted or thought that they were kind of engaging with, and this is the energy of what was actually brought to them, where it was almost like, sometimes Six of Pentacles to me is like very reciprocal, and it's like sharing and caring and giving and taking, and other times there can be a potential level of like control dynamics play out as well, where there are people that are literally lower and they are kept lower. I don't know, but this lady, she doesn't seem like she's keeping them lower. She seems like she's just weighing up what she wants. And then these people, it's like they're waiting to see what she doesn't want so that they can take it for themselves. But like, this is weird. I don't understand this. Maybe this could also be, I don't know, this person, their take on the situation. They might not understand what was really going down. Like, one person wanted like love and fulfillment. I heard respect and community, but also like reciprocal, I don't know, reciprocal, respectable relationships. I don't know, like, is it too much to ask to be considered? Is it too much to be treated like a human? Or like, I get the sense that whatever happened here, it must have happened with people that were some type of closeness. Sorry, this lighting's so bad, so annoying. It's more annoying. Yeah, okay, that's as best I can really get that card. They just wanted love. They just wanted to be loved. That was it. They just wanted to be loved. Okay. What else do we have? No, not them cards, different cards. Okay. Let's try it. Yes. Whoa. Yeah, I don't know if this card says cyberbully, you are being bullied online, or they are or have suffered from it. I actually don't know whether this had to do with online. For some of you, it definitely could have, so take what resonates. But for others of you, that cyber element doesn't have to be in there. It could have just been like this person was bullied, or that's what this person, that, you know, their take on the situation was, they seen someone get bullied, whoever this was about. But yeah. Oh yeah, these ones. Okay. Cool. Yeah, I think after that they were kind of like left out in the cold, or they felt like they were out in the cold, or like kicked out, or they felt like they weren't getting the love or respect or the dignity or something like that that they deserved. And so they were like looking for a new beginning. I wonder, I don't know. These groups they're kind of interesting in how things play out. Do you know what? Someone here just wanted to be the boss. They did. They really did. They didn't care as long as they were like, I look at the picture and I'm like, she like looks graceful. She doesn't look like that. But then I like see the dynamic from a different angle and I'm like, oh no, she definitely just wanted to be the boss. And she didn't care who was beneath her. I don't know. Someone feeling like they were outed and they're after that they've been gifted a new beginning here by spirit in some way. But I mean, it shouldn't come as a surprise that this person was already like very interconnected with the universe. Anything else for, what are we at group for? That's everything that I have for you, group 4. Hopefully this is helpful to you all in some way. Like, if you got something out of this video, definitely leave a like, or share your experience in the comments. I'll see you all in another video. Take care. Group 5, if you chose the Starseed Oracle, then this will be your person's take on what happened. So we have Empathic Starseed, Inner Earth, and Lost Lands, the Maiden, and the Mask. And straight away when I see the Mask, I just think that, I don't know if it was a self-protective measure here or whether it was something that somebody like weaponized to sort of hide the facts of something that they had done. Yeah. And with the Maiden here, it does talk a lot about like a time of like fertility and it was kind of like the different stages of womanhood as you can move through from being the maiden to the mother to the crone, and that when we're in a state of maiden, I'm not doing this really justice to what the book says, but it's just briefly, for me, it's touching on eroticism, potentially a naivete, wanting to be desired or actually being desirable, being fertile, being really beautiful, a lot of lust. There's like, nothing is wrong with any of this energy. Like, we don't need to judge it or anything like that. Like when, you know, everyone goes through the maiden phase, I would say. But there's something about it where it was like, I don't know if I want to say it was over prioritized or it was like, that's what this person was trying to, what am I trying to say? I think that your person's take on the situation was they could have thought whoever this other person was involved here, that they were potentially naive and may have had misguided or misplaced priorities or something like that. Or like, and when I say that, it's not for us to really judge another person's perspective or the things they want in their life, but I think they could see something to it where it was maybe like superficial or it didn't have a lot of longevity to it or something like that, okay? And they could sort of see that this person was putting on a show and could have been potentially covering up something about themselves that they didn't like, or some sort of icky feeling that kind of like hangs out in the background, or I don't know what it is. But I feel like they're a really beautiful person like this. So your person sees this, is witnessing what's happening here. And they're like, oh, but they're a beautiful person. They really are. And I get lots of beautiful energy here. Like I genuinely do. But it's like they're still trying to cover something up. And it's like there's not a transparency here with the entirety of a situation. Anyway, so your person's take on what happened here, they could have been affected by this, even if they weren't like the person that was directly impacted. And they could have really like taken on some of the feelings of those around them. but really kind of just look forward to get past that time. And I don't know, like they could have really not known what to do, but they've just pushed themselves into a different situation to not have to be where they were. Yeah. And I think they maybe realize that they themselves have like a type of naivety to whatever this like kind of semi-covered up, semi-showy offy behavior was that they witnessed. So I don't actually know if this person has like any real genuine take on the situation. I think they recognize that they didn't like how they felt. They didn't want to be there. They were willing to push past or push out of a situation to move on to like a different time or like some sort of like beginning or try to find a solution. It was like, I feel like it was pretty uncomfortable for them, and that they recognize that they may have had like a type of naivety in the situation to the things that were going on, but I think they do see it and they maybe don't really want to acknowledge it. They don't want to like really stop and have a chat about it. They don't really want to like, I feel like this person would do the most to not engage in conversation about whatever this was. So their take on it is that they don't want to be pulled down by it. They don't want to be involved. They realize that they didn't see things for what they were, and that they potentially were caught off guard as well with whoever this other person was that sort of did something. That they admit that this person put on a really good show and that they had them fooled. But when the mask came off, it was actually really ugly. Is that it? Is that everything? That can't be everything, right? I'm going to take another card. Okay. Here we go. They could have seen this person's inner child kind of come out, and that was something to do with that mask slip, was like unmasking that like wounded inner child. But on the other side of it, we have, I think I think these two cards are representative of two different people that played out in the scenario. We have the masked person and a person that was naive. So although your person, and this is their take on the situation, admits that they were naive to whatever this masked energy was, they seen somebody else in contact with the masked person, and what they tend to think of them, they say they awaken this. I'm doing a terrible job. Sorry guys, bear with me. So they're saying that the maiden awakens compassion and desire to serve other wounded children and open the learning path of forgiveness. So I think that they see that this person is quite innocent. This maiden figure was very innocent in whatever it was that happened, even though they don't want to engage in whatever it was. They don't want to get caught up in it. They just want to move forward. They want a new beginning. They want people to work out their stuff themselves and not have to like be drawn in. They don't want to have to suffer the energetic toll that it takes to be around other people when all this stuff is going on. They don't want to deal with it. It's almost like they do want to go to another world or another place and not be affected by it. And I think they're now a bit unnerved about this person wearing a mask, because they're like, I really thought you were this way, but you're really this way. And the thing is that's weird about this person too, is that although yes, there is the wearing a mask and taking it off and revealing the true self underneath, I actually think this person embodies quite a lot of duality or duplicity in their nature. So they really are this, but they also really are this at the same time. And it's hard because it definitely could still be a mask slip at the same time. They really are this full, fun, vibrant, embodied, colorful person that you think they are, but they really also are this like void, deep, dark, behind the scenes energy that is unnerving. So yeah, okay. Group 5, that was like by far the quickest of all. Is there anything else that we can ask that might help clarify or provide further information for group 5 for their person, like what their take is on the situation. No, that's it. We've done it. Okay. Nice work, team. Thank you.